Hi everyone, we are here at the Lean In Foundation headquarters, the Barak Center, and having such an amazing time meeting the different incredible women in our circle. For our Lean In Foundation story number 5, we have the incredible Shazia Farooqui, one of the pioneers women in shipping. And she has had such an incredible life, and her journey is going to be fascinating for you all. And she's chair of the Lean In Pakistan Handover Fist circle, and she is being interviewed by the incredible Margaret Fialho, who is a member of the Lean in Pakistan Wellbeing Circle. And I'm sure Margaret is going to be asking her a lot about that fabulous name that she selected for her circle. And also, there's a softer side to Shazia. She makes the best hummus in the whole of Pakistan. So, and I'm a big fan and a big buyer. So, anyhow, you guys have so much fun. Margaret, the show is yours with Shazia. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Tara. And yes, I absolutely agree with Tara. Shazia does make the best hummus, and that is also one of the, I think, stories that we connected on. But before we go on to that, my name is Margaret Lobo Fialho, and I am a proud member of Lean in Pakistan, the Wellbeing Circle. I am a neurolinguistics life coach, and I specialize in timeline therapy. I have facilitated people in their journey to, to just recover from past baggage, emotional intelligence, resilience, confidence building, and much more. But today is about Shazia Farooqui. Shazia Farooqui will tell us much more about herself, but all I can say is that she is a definition of powerhouse and a very dear friend. So how are you doing today, Shazia?
Thank you very well. I'm doing very, very well, Margaret. Nice to see you. And thank you so much for inviting me today.
Yes, you're welcome. Shazia, tell us more about yourself and what do you do, your Lean in Circle, what were the inspirations, aspirations? Tell us more.
Well, I am with the maritime industry, and from there, I this is how I joined Lean In. I mean, my Lean In Circle name actually derives from the work I do, which is hand over fist. And it was mostly used in merchandise in the maritime industry, in the shipping industry, and it appealed to me. So I had chosen this name for my circle, for Lean In. And I hope to find more and more women in shipping to join the circle. And if not, I mean, women who are not in shipping can join the circle as well. But the maritime industry, I believe that it's done a lot of wonders for me as a person, and in my personality as well.
Absolutely. I mean, since the time I've known you, Shazia, for me, at least I know that you are a definition of resilience. And I know that it does take a lot of work and a lot of energy and a lot of values, which we will talk about a little later. But for now, tell me, Shazia, what makes you happy? What makes your soul happy? What makes your heart happy?
Well, what makes me happy is when things are going smoothly. When I'm more content, when I can spend time with the loved ones and family members, where I can sit and laugh without thinking about worry. That makes me happy. Of course, worry is part of life. But as long as it's off your mind for a while, it takes you it takes you away. Happiness takes you with some good friends, some nice dinner to hang out. I mean, happiness is not only eating, but I like to do things with close friends and discuss things, and constructive discussions, things like that. And a nice, comfortable, surrounding that makes me happy. When I'm more relaxed.
Beautiful. And I love that constructive, because there are times that, one can kind of go out of proportion in terms of, giving advices or any sort of opinions, but it being very constructive. Or for me, I understand that's also a very, very good way to build rapport and to build good understanding. And which is why, of course, we connected, Shazia. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. So I'm aware, and many, of course, who do know you, but of course, this is now, you're on air, and the world is watching you. Tell us, we know that you lived in Dubai. How was life there? Tell us more about your, childhood memory, or what was it like? What was life out there?
Dubai, I mean, I was brought up and raised and brought up in Dubai because my father, who was also in the maritime industry, he was a master mariner, so he sailed. And I sailed with him, and he was posted to Dubai, UAE, basically. We lived in Sharjah, but UAE, in those days, Dubai and Sharjah were not much different as opposed to now. And I am having moved from Hong Kong. UAE was a very, very big change for me. Hong Kong was a different ball game altogether, and UAE was still developing. And I said, "Oh God, where have I ended up? What kind of a country is this?" But having lived there, I realized that I got mixes of both culture, and it was very easy to adjust in a country like Dubai. Very comfortable, very happy life, very laid back life, lots of fun, lots of time. I did enjoy my time growing up. Of course, I was with my, because of dad used to take care of everything. So I had nothing to worry about. And it was a very luxurious and a wonderful life. You had really not much to think about, no difficulties, nothing at all. So I do remember, I do have some good memories, and I made some very good friends in Dubai, actually, who is still with me. That's one thing Dubai taught me. Yeah. But one thing I learned about UAE is that you never live there forever. So don't get too used to it.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So what's really, really, yes, having, I would say, even if people have one friend, as long as they're like-minded, and you are there in terms of not just, good days, but also bad days. So I'm glad that you did, have a good circle. And of course, the father-daughter bond is very close to my heart. So while you say and tell me your story, tell us all your story, I just feel so happy. So thank you for sharing that, Shazia.
Thank you.
Thank you. So moving towards corporate. Okay, moving towards corporate. And I know this is huge for you. And tell me about your accomplishments. Tell me about your journey. What was it like? The twist and the turns, and yeah, what was it like?
Well, when we initially moved to Pakistan, I was looking for a job and not ever lived in Pakistan. I had no clue what Pakistan was like. I didn't know anybody. I had no connections. I never went to school here. I never went to college here. So I didn't know anybody. There were just a few friends who I may have known through family friends and so on. I was looking for a job, and I spoke to one of my family friends. Oh, should I just, at least, just for starters, should I get into teaching? Because in those days, I used to see everybody used to just go into teaching or banking in Pakistan. Mm-hmm. So I was just shipping. Even though shipping was right in the back of my mind, I loved it so much. I never had the courage to approach this industry, But when I did mention it, and one of the family friends, she mentioned it to someone else, and she said, "Oh, and her husband, who has a shipping company, was looking for girls, And he gave me this opportunity. Now, not realizing that this is something I could learn on the back of my hand. I was so familiar with it because I used to keep reading about shipping, what's happening in the maritime industry. And then with my father being in the maritime industry, I just had a bigger interest. So I used to ask him and speak to him about this industry all the time. So it wasn't very difficult for me to actually learn the ropes, but what was difficult was the culture, and being in Pakistan, being a very, very male-dominating profession, they weren't very welcoming. They're welcoming when it comes to saying, that you're wearing a nice lipstick today, but I like the color you're wearing. Oh, or you've got this nail paint on. But when it comes to the professional aspect, they were not very welcoming. So I used to hear things like, oh, well, what will she know about shipping? She's just a girl. She hasn't sailed anywhere. What does she know about ships? What does she know about the ocean? But to their surprise, it was about a year that I picked on, and I was the only female in fleet personnel in Pakistan, one of the first females. And everywhere I went to, for example, if I had to visit a vessel, a principal's vessel, it's a vessel called Pakistan, and I was asked to visit the vessel. So you need identification, a pass to enter the port and visit the ship. So people there would not issue me a pass, and they said that's impossible. There can never be a female fleet officer or a manager. How can that be possible? So the first time ever they issued me a pass, they said, well, we have to interview her. Please call her physically to the port. And, the harbor master wanted to see whether I really did exist or it was just a game they were playing. And I did, and since then I've never had problems with the authorities. I mean, yes, somebody new will always say, "Well, why a female?" And but no problems at all. Since then, I have never had any problems with any of my sailors either. It took me about a year to actually win their trust, and
Wow.
then after that, I would just have them, come and confirm things to me, and they would. If I said no, this is right, then that was fine. So I believe that character played a really big role here. You just have to be a word. Your word has to stick. Yes.
Wow. So inspirational, Shazia. What I gathered from all of this were values. And I feel that it is so important to have those values or to work around it, to make your way around in a very, very, I would say, respectful, in a very, dignified manner. And my next question to you is that how did you survive the male dominating industries? Like the values, what I kind of got through what you just said is like, being in character, trust, courage, accountability, responsibilities. How did you pull out, like how did you kind of, hold yourself strong? I'm sure it wasn't an overnight thing. It was something that you had to maintain. And how did you work around all of this? It's just brilliant. So please shed some light on this.
I was already quite tomboyish, and I was always very tough, actually. So, was it easy? No, it wasn't. The survival wasn't easy at all. People would come up with all kinds of reasoning. Why are we here? And they would try all kinds of tactics. I mean, I've gone through a very, very tough journey where they would try to spoil the work I've done from people in the workplace just to make me look bad. But I survived it because I just worked a step ahead of them. I just could understand what was going on because I knew I was a female, and I understood that I had a very, very huge challenge with all these men and me competing with them. But some of them, you had to keep a very strong face. You had to keep very strong personalities. There were times I would break down alone, but I had to pick myself up because it's something I wanted to do. I loved this industry so much that it's something I wanted to do. And I just think that I got the strength to do it and to keep my strength. And I kept going on and striving and striving and striving. And I'm still striving. It's not easy still to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that more and more people came, they accepted. And I saw that all over the world, there were more females being introduced in the shipping industry. So they had no choice but to accept more females.
Well, so much for, yes. I'm blown away, and really, Shazia, kudos to you. It is not easy to break stereotypes. It is just not easy, but really, really, hats off, my friend. So proud. My next question to you is, in fact, let me just shed some light on this. Many people talk about people management, and I know, I respect and I understand that people are getting there. They're working very hard, they're doing courses, or they're also kind of, are kind of being out there to have experiences. And it is indeed a very, very strong skill set, people management. So my question to you is that, in terms of that, you did mention highs and lows, but how did you develop the skill set, in corporate? What was the mindset behind it? I understand, yes, mashallah, you're resilient and you stood your grounds and you had your highs and lows, but there's always this X factor, to keep going. That, like I said, not everybody is ace at people management, but so much that I know of you and what you're sharing. Please give us more light on this, the whole skill set of people management.
I take care of fleet personnel, a department which was given to me, where I was placed and started my career. And I've done various departments in this industry. For example, I've done ship operations and ship management, in ship management. Then I've done training. Now we have sailors, and they all come from different backgrounds and all kinds of mindsets. They come from very, very different mindsets. Now our industry, to me, one of the most important resource is human resource, because they're the people who will do the job for you to even run your technology well. We place seafarers on ships, which is human resource on board. And we are sitting here, and we have our nationality in sailing on different principles, who is a different nationality, their ships. So we needed to adapt and control them by sitting in one place. And this is something this industry taught me. It's the people skill. Because we had to, the industry taught me how to deal with people in general. Because people management was very difficult initially. We had to train them. We had the speaking skills. Everyone came with a different mindset. They came with different attitudes. Some were very violent, some were not violent, some were, very aggressive, some were less aggressive. They had different thought processes, because when they're on ships, they work very differently as opposed to on land. It's a different, atmosphere and environment on ships. There's a lot of work, and the only entertainments they get. So they have certain, personalities, and they develop, within their temperaments. So this is something I learned by dealing with them. So every time I dealt with someone different, I learned something new, and this is how I developed my skills with managing them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Shazia, you did earlier mention that your father, is your biggest inspiration. Anybody else outside, like in corporate, who kind of added value to your life or to your whole career path? Is there somebody outside the family who inspired you, or to just guided you?
Well, no, I mean, within the corporate sector, there were two colleagues. The first person who trained me, actually, when I joined this organization, and he trusted me enough, who was also a master mariner, but he trusted me enough, and he guided me, and he trained me very, very well. He's Captain Seafarooqui. He actually really inspired me, because he taught me how to communicate with the vessels, from people, from the sailors to different organizations within this industry. And it gave me a lot of confidence. And I still remember when he was leaving, and they said, "Can she handle it? It's just a year. She hasn't." And he said, "No, she can handle it alone." And I remember him saying one thing to me. He said, "I will not give you this. You will have to grab this from me." So
Wow.
I understood and I appreciate the training he gave me. And the other person who has inspired me and who has trusted me enough is Mr. Akhtar Alam, who's one of the technical, he's an engineer, because you need an engineer on a ship as well. So I see that he guides me a lot, from the technical aspect of how to understand a vessel. because the engineer is a very important resource in the shipping industry. And he still guides me, and and he trusts me enough to to put me through. So he still is here, so I take a lot of guidance from him, and I speak to him a lot about my work and how things are done, the understanding of a vessel, because I haven't sailed. And of course, the only person who has been my inspiration was my father. I had told him at one point when I was a little girl that, oh, can I be a captain? And I think he was very scared because he knew I had more or less, my personality was exactly like him. And there was I was going to. But unfortunately, we don't have women from Pakistan who sail.
Okay. I've always believed in the power of providence, as in there's always somebody taking care of you, right? So what is your vision ahead?
Vision
What are your
of?
goals? Your vision.
Oh, my vision? My vision is that I wish I can bring in more and more vessels and companies to Pakistan, because I see Pakistan as one of the most neglected countries in the world when it comes to the maritime industry, due to a number of reasons, political reasons and visa issues and that issues and this issues. And I would like to see this industry grow, because I think this is one of the most neglected industries in Pakistan now, as opposed to maybe not 40, 50 years ago, it wasn't. But now it is. And it needs to come back. My vision is to keep working to try and bring something to this industry where we can be recognized like we were before.
You're such an inspiration, Shazia. Can you tell me, how do I say this? So, when have you leaned into your career dreams? Like, what was the, sorry, what was the X factor that you thought you had to make changes in your life to, like, they say, sorry, just a second, to lean into your dreams? What was the X factor?
I think the X factor is the X factor here is when I saw that there's not much opportunities for women, for people in this part of the world, especially for this industry. That's when I started thinking about it and leaning in. I just feel that there should be more women here.
Beautiful. Any any reflection that you would like to give to the women out there who are still struggling and who are, just watching your story right now? Anything that you would like to share with them?
Life is always a struggle, and if some of you think that having worked for 25 years, I don't have struggles. I still do. The struggles never stop. It's just that you have to keep praying for the strength and keep moving, keep going, and always be vocal. Your needs, always speak about your thoughts.
Perfect. Shazia, you're my inspiration, and I know now that you're going to be many inspiration, a lot of inspiration from many people. But thank you very much for your time and such a beautiful journey. I wish you all the best in all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take good
Appreciate it.
care
Thank
and
you for having me here, Margaret.
yes, thank you. And of course, a big thank you to Tara Uzra. I mean, a
Yes,
great
big thank you.
definition of empowerment. I've always believed that empowered women empower each other, which is why we're here. So, yes, thank you, Tara, as well.
Yes. Don't let anyone put you down.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much for your wise words, and have a beautiful day, as beautiful as you are.
Thank you.
Take good
You
care
too.
and see you soon, Shazia.
Yes, definitely.